What's up, YouTube? This is a quick introduction to the Browning 1911-22 22 long rifle pistol. This is the compact model. Picked this up 2 days ago. Haven't really had a chance to go through it yet. This is shipped in a nice hard plastic case. Let's take a look and see what's included in it. Alright, first off we got our paperwork here. Shows our instruction manual and teardown assembly instructions. Does have the once fired cartridge case. For those not familiar with this, there is a handful of states out there that requires a fired cartridge case to be kept on file. So if your state requires it, the manufacturers will ship the firearm with one of these in a sealed envelope, and then as your dealer sells the gun, they in turn send that into the state or the county that keeps track of it. And if your state doesn't require it, then basically just it'll be in your case when you look at it. I'm in Texas, so we don't have that nonsense here. This is a little card that actually explains what we just talked about and the requirement of the individual dealer to supply that cartridge case. Comes with a lock. These I think are not practical. I believe in a gun safe instead. So if you don't have a safe, then maybe this is an alternative. I actually think that they're a good sap there. Okay, the gun itself. Let me get this out of the way. Gun itself is a small compact model. And this was checked at the dealer, came straight home, so the gun is unloaded. There's no questions about that. So again, just verify it. It does come with one 10-round magazine. Manufacturers, this is a tip for you. If you're shipping or selling a semi-automatic handgun, always include at least 2 magazines. Preferably 3 if it's a self-defense firearm, but just a plinker like this, always include 2 magazines. If we're going to spend $400 to $500 on the firearm, I'd just as soon go ahead and spend an extra $30 or $40 at the time of purchase and have the second magazine. So that would be an opportunity for you manufacturers to increase your sales throughput, and at the same time it makes it more convenient for the consumer. I don't want to have to go and chase down a magazine. So if we look at the magazine again, this is a 10-rounder. It is kind of nice because it does have the thumb grabs on it. See if you can see that right there. It's serrated, so it's a nice easy purchase. You can pull that down and just drop your cartridges into it and then let it go. So I think that'll work actually very good. Now this is the again the compact model. It is about 85% size for the full-size 1911. It fits my hand very well. Everything on it allegedly is just like on a 1911 on the 45 model. It's just scaled down. Disassembles the same, everything like that. Overall fit and finish on this is quite nice. There's one thing on here that I've noticed with this one, and that's this thumb safety. The thumb safety, if you look at it, see if I can get this in focus for you, but right here on the back edge of it where it meets the frame, it's got a nice sharp edge to it, and it does dig into the fat part of my hand right here. So I think there's going to be a little filing or a little Dremel work done on that, but it does operate crisply, and a positive engagement there is nice. This gun, the one thing that I don't like about it is it has a magazine disconnect. Now, I'm not a fan of that. I've heard different stories on why manufacturers put that in there. Some people will say that it's for law enforcement, so that if they're into a scuffle for their firearm and somebody rustles it out of their hand, all they got to do is hit the magazine release and it'll make it where it can't be fired at them. That may have some merit at some point in time. Personally, I think that's hogwash because this is clearly not a self-defense firearm, not designed to be anyway. You could use it as such in a pinch, but it's not designed to be a self-defense firearm due to the caliber on it. but it still has the magazine disconnect. So here's my recollection on this. If a person is not familiar with firearms and they come back from a day at the range, they take the magazine out of the firearm and they think the gun is unloaded. They don't know that they're supposed to open the chamber, the slide up, and examine the chamber to make sure it's empty. So I think by taking and adding in a magazine disconnect, that will help limit the amount of negligent discharges from people that are just not familiar with the firearm. I have researched this. It is a relatively easy bypass on it. Obviously, it'll void your warranty. This will be a little bar on the backside of the trigger, from what I understand. I haven't done it yet. Obviously, I just picked this firearm up 2 days ago. Haven't even had a chance to get it to the range yet. Other people have done shooting evaluations of this, and I've not heard any negative reports on it. Just goes through all of the ammo. Once I get a chance to get it out to the range, I will go through that and post an update to this. But like I said, overall, just a very, very nice fit and finish on the weapon. I just can't say enough positive things about it. I've got little small hands, so the grip on it for me is fine. I can practically crush a pineapple in my grip, so I've never been one to worry about just a two-finger purchase on a gun like you get the little baby Glocks or something like that. You got normally this pinky hangs off underneath on a shorter gripped firearms. That doesn't bother me because I can pretty much hold on to a 44 Magnum with just these two fingers and a thumb right here. But this one does let me get majority of all three fingers onto the grip. Got a little overhang on the pinky there, but nothing too extreme on it. But yeah, overall, I think this is just a fine gun. My local dealer here was able to get this shipped in. Out the door price, I want to say, was $522. That was tax included. So pretty fair price. I've seen them at gun shows for about that same price, then tax on top. So I'm fortunate that I've got a dealer local to me that is very reasonable. I've ordered 2 or 3 guns from him. One of them that I'll be doing a review on a little bit later is this one right here. This is a 44 Magnum. Big fan of the 44 Magnum cartridge. I think it's one of the best cartridges ever devised. This is actually an EAA bounty hunter. And again, overall nice, inexpensive option for a good hog gun or something of that nature. But again, I'll be doing a review on that down the road. But for now, back to the little Browning 1911-22. They do make these in an A1 model that has a little bit longer barrel on it. Grips about the same overall length on the grip, just a little longer barrel. This is reminiscent of the Commander size, which uses the same grip but just a shorter barrel. So it's kind of basically what this I think the target was on this. Sights on it is not impressive at all. Standard simple bar in the front. The U on the back is very narrow, so that front post will really fill up the front post will really fill up your notch back here. I know just pointing it around in the house, it's real tough. My old eyes there, I don't see as good as I used to, so that could definitely be a problem for me. But hey, a little bit of the wife's nail polish and problem solved. So at any rate, that wraps up this review of the 1911-22 on the Browning. I plan on getting it out into range this week and give it a try, and then I'll post a follow-up on the results on that. Hey guys, back again with the Browning 1911-22. Finally got a chance to get out to the range, and as you can see, firearm is clear, no magazine, nothing in the chamber, so it's safe to handle. Got this out to the range. Unfortunately, I didn't have any camera with me, so we'll just walk through what the results were. Went out with 3 types of ammunition. One is Federal Target Grade. The next one was Winchester Expert 22. And the last one was just the Federal 550 round. All three of these was purchased through Walmart's at one time or another. All of them would be considered bulk packs. This one right here looks like it is 325 rounds. This one's 500, and this one is 550. So I just wanted to check all of them. I know in other 22s that I have, both this one and especially this Winchester Expert is very tough to get it to run in a couple of my other 22s. So I just wanted to check them out on it. The good news on this particular gun is that it functioned flawlessly. I put probably 300 rounds downrange total. Not a single hiccup, no malfunctions of any kind. Basically just took the gun straight out of the box and took it to the range. No pre-lubrication, no cleaning in advance, nothing like that. The only thing I did was cleared the barrel, make sure there was no obstructions in it, and then just went to work. And went ahead and tested out for the accuracy on it. So hopefully you can see this. Move it in here a little bit. Up here in the top left corner, this is the target rounds, which was the Federal match grade. And as you can see, it's 5 rounds. All of these was fired at 15 feet offhand. I'm not the best shot in the world, so I'm quite certain this firearm is capable of shooting a lot better than what I am. And this looks like about 1.3 inches or so, center to center. Next one was the Winchester Expert 22s. Again, this is the one that historically has been a little finicky in other guns. And again, this one is about a 1.1. The last two were Federals, the bulk pack from Walmart. This would be about 1.5 inch. I had a flyer right off the bat, first shot, and same way with this one. I had first shot that went a little off. That's my fault. I pulled the trigger instead of squeezing it. And then here in the center is Federal bulk pack on a timed event, and this was 5 seconds, 10 shots. So not bad on that one right there. It comes out to about 1.2, 1.3 inches on that. And again, everything here was 15 feet. So hopefully you can see those. Get it zoomed in for you here. There you go. Now one thing I did notice on this particular magazine on this, 22 long rifle round, it's has difficulties in chambering and feeding, and here's basically why. If you notice, the rim obviously is much larger diameter than the casing, so when they're stacked into a magazine, if a round gets the rim lodged in behind it, for example, if this is the top round coming out of the magazine and for somehow the rim got locked behind this, it's going to pull both of them up and it's going to give you a double feed, which we call a malfunction. Then of course 22 ammunition is for the most part it's wax coated, it tends to not burn all of the powder, so it's just a real dirty ammunition and it's tough to get it to work flawlessly. I would say that this is probably again a short 300 round sample, but it functioned 100%. I was just totally impressed with it. Not a single hiccup or even a indication that it was going to give a hiccup at all. Everything chambered, extracted, just worked flawlessly. So I was looking at the magazine, and here is, I think, a contributing factor. I'm going to try to zoom this in for you. And if you look at that back spine of the magazine, you can see the rims of each one of the cartridges. Now, those rims are basically going into the magazine like this. It's kind of a cross section to where down in the magazine they're stacked on top of each other, much like this. They're kind of at a I'd say probably a 20-degree angle at least, maybe even a 25-degree angle. And as they get worked up towards the top, the lead round will get canted and it comes in straight and forward. But I think that's what is eliminating getting the rims locked up. So it's pretty ingenious. I've never actually seen that, at least not with so pronounced. You can see the rounds are staggered right here. Every other round has a different cant to it in relation to pointing towards the front of the magazine. So very, very ingenious on it. Let me see if I can get that macroed up for you. Hopefully you can see that. So at any rate, I think that would definitely qualify this particular 22 to just be a great all-around keeper. I think it is, like I said, short of just having a little rough spot right here. And you know, and actually when I was shooting it, it wasn't so uncomfortable that it was a focus point for me. And I'm sure it's just this particular one-off gun that has that indication. So I've never heard anybody else mention anything about it at all. Again, the only real downside to this whole firearm is the sights. Not a big fan of the black on black, and the magazine only coming with being shipped with one. That's about the only two shortcomings for it. Other than that, this is just a fine little 22. It's a little pricier. You can get a Sig Mosquito or a Walther P22, something along that lines, which again, those are just plinkers as well. And you can get one of those for around $330, $329, somewhere around there. And so this one right here is a couple $100 more. But if you're a 1911 fan, I would definitely say that this is worth adding to your arsenal. So at any rate, I apologize not having the camera on site at the range to actually record the live shooting of it. But trust me, this thing is just a jewel and definitely a keeper. Thanks, good luck, and go pick yourself up a Browning.